Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about fat intake because I get asked so often. Probably my number one question from everybody out there is, why am I not losing weight on keto? And there's two things that really pop out to me that I wanted to let you know about. Number one, most important, please be aware, keto is a muscle sparing way of life. Keto, when you do it correctly, will spare your lean muscle mass. And what does that mean when you're trying to weigh yourself on the scale and you're not seeing any losses? Here we go, guys. What it means is, if you have lean muscle mass on your body, whether it's a lot, a little, or in between, eating keto will preserve that. Meaning your body, when it goes long periods of time without eating, let's say, it won't break your muscle down. So while you're losing body fat on keto, right, because fat takes up a lot more space than muscle. A pound of fat and a pound of muscle are the same. A lot of people always say, fat weighs more than muscle, or muscle weighs more than fat. I don't know where that comes from, but that's not true. A pound of muscle is equal to a pound of fat. However, the pound of muscle might be this big, where a pound of fat might be this big. So if you have more fat on your body, you're going to be bigger. You ever see people that, let's say they lift weights and they're really fit in the gym, and then you say, you know, I wonder how much they weigh, and they're like 200 pounds, but they look like ripped and amazing? Yeah, that's because they have a lot of muscle mass. You ever see a 200-pound person with no lean muscle mass? Okay, you got my point. So here's the deal. A pound of fat and a pound of muscle weigh the same, but a pound of fat takes up more space. So while you're on keto and you're losing the body fat, your muscle still stays there. And if you're exercising, which we all recommend, you might be building some more muscle. So the scale balances out. For me, really, at this stage in the game, I'm lucky if I see the scale move. The first 2 weeks of keto, I had several pounds lost. Now, it's just the same. But my inches are going down. My muscle definition is popping. All the hard work that I've done over the last few months is paying off visually, which is phenomenal and exciting. And I'm so proud of myself moving forward. So when you're on the scale every morning, like most of us are, don't get discouraged because you're going to have fluctuations anyway. But remember, you want to keep your lean muscle mass. You don't want to be an old person that can't get out of bed because, oh, my muscles hurt, my back hurts, this hurts, everything's inflamed, all this other stuff. You want some lean muscle mass. So do yourself a favor. I don't care if you're paralyzed from the waist down, and this isn't funny, but it's serious. You can still do exercises with your arms. Everyone has an excuse. Everyone's tired at the end of the day. Everybody comes home from work and doesn't feel like going to the gym. That's fine. There's things you can do at home. You can sit on your couch and watch TV and stand up and down, up and down, up and down during a commercial. If you can't do that, lift your arms up and down, up and down. Bring your arms forward and out, forward and out. Lift your legs if you can't move your arms. There's always some way to get your heart elevated just a little bit. You could take soup cans and hold them in your hand and do bicep curls. Anything you can do each day to get some exercise in, guys, is going to benefit you. And don't be shocked if you're not losing weight on the scale. Take your measurements. Get a tape measure. Measure yourself weekly, bi-weekly, every month, whatever. But you will definitely see a change, and it's exciting because you're keeping your muscle. So anyway, with all of that being said, what stands out the most when people say that they're not losing weight? One of them, for me, that I've noticed with a lot of people is that they take in too much added fat. Now, what does that mean? Well, you can eat, let's say, a fatty cut of meat. Let's say a chicken thigh, right? It's a fatty cut of meat, and if you eat the skin, that's more fat. You don't need to add tons of butter to it. You can just enjoy the meat with the with the fat that's already in it, and still get your fat macros in. So with that, okay, when you first start on keto, it's always recommended that you're adding a lot of extra fat. And because you're giving up a ton of food that you're not used to doing, and you're losing a lot of water and electrolytes, the added fat will help keep you from being hungry. But as you become adapted and a few months go by and you're not as hungry, you don't feel you have to add a glob of fat on everything you eat. Stick to your protein that has added fat. Stick to an avocado that's got fat in it already. You know, there's so many things that you can choose. Olives have fat in them. Added like olive oil and stuff on a salad is great because salad doesn't have added fat. But what I'm saying is you don't necessarily have to make a chicken thigh and add butter to it. You don't have to have a chicken thigh and fry it in a vat of oil. You don't have to make a steak and drizzle it in butter and oil and all of these things. You can enjoy a nice fatty cut of steak. Maybe have a drop of butter on it if you need that, but you don't necessarily have to. That is one of the biggest things that I see, because when I tell people this, and then they tell me back maybe a week or two later, like, oh my God, Laura, I definitely cut back on my added fat and stuck with the fat that was already in my food, boom, they see a change. So it's just a suggestion. Try it out. Don't be scared. While keto is a high fat, low carb, moderate protein way of life, remember, you can get fat by way of eating the whole food, not the store Whole Foods. Eating whole food, you know, something that had a face, something that came from the ground. Try to stick with that kind of thing. There is fat in our food, and if you make the right choices, the right things, eggs have fat, steak has fat, chicken thighs have fat, chicken breast has fat as long as you eat the skin. Avocados have fat, coconut has fat. There's so many things that you can choose. And yes, you can saute and cook in oils and things like that. You can add butter. I'm not saying not to. I'm just saying watch the added amount that you're adding, because sometimes you add too much. Some people also don't do well with cheese and dairy. If that's you, cut it out of your diet and I guarantee you'll see some changes. So anyway, keep these tips in mind. I think they're really good ones. Obvious also, you need good sleep, you need to drink your water, you gotta get your stress levels down, you gotta exercise. Those are all things that benefit you on keto, and if you wanna see results, there's a whole variety of things that you really should take into consideration. But again, the added fat is such a big thing with a lot of people. So if you're one of those people staggering around like, why can't I lose weight on this diet? Why are my inches not going away? Check and see, calculate, track your food every day and see how much added fat you're getting. And I bet you, if you tone it down a little bit, you'll succeed. All right, so that's today's video. If you have any questions, leave them below. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Stay focused, guys. I love you. Thanks for being here. Have a great day. Bye, guys.